Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Hello. We are live. I'm Frank, and this is
Sarah and Sheldon.
Sheldon. Sheldon is here to join us for a very special, very merry. Have you seen this with Frank and Sarah?
Yay!
Yeah, I'm excited. So last month, me and Sarah got together and talked about our movies, and we picked Christmas movies. But as we were doing that, something happened, and I'm like, Sarah, where's your pick?
And I was like, oh, it doesn't exist anywhere right now. And now I know why Frank collects DVDs.
I for sure thought we double checked it. I thought we went on YouTube and it was there. So maybe they deleted it within the month we did the show. Because I'm pretty sure we did. I don't know.
I have no idea. So we had to make a quick switch, but I think it was a good switch.
It was a very good switch. Very good switch. But it was so funny. I was like, oh my God, this but you're like you learn why. Like this is why I own physical media. Because it's nowhere. It's like I couldn't believe it. I even Googled it. I'm like, where is Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer? And it said like it's on Amazon Prime, and it said like, no, it's not. I'm like, all right. Okay, so I think we'll start with you first.
Yeah. Well, and we had a double feature this time.
Yes.
So
we'll
quadruple feature. So I just want to say I started watching my movies 3 weeks ago, and I'm so proud of myself. It's the first time I've ever done anything that early in my life. So I only had one movie to watch today. So my two picks were, my first pick was cheesy, corny. It's my like really fattening chocolate pasta kind of like guilty pleasure, you know, where you just want to eat it sometimes, like chicken wings. I couldn't even think of something unhealthy, like chicken wings, you know, just like that good yum holiday movie called Holiday. And after almost 12 months of doing this show with Frank, I finally picked a movie where he had to sign up for Netflix.
Because it was exclusive to Netflix. Oh my Lord.
Welcome to the dark side. So Holiday is a rom-com movie with Emma Roberts, whom I love. And basically it follows this couple. It starts on Christmas, and this girl, Emma Roberts, just gets dumped, and she has to go home to her family, and you know, they're all married. Her younger brother just got engaged. She has to sit at the kids' table, or chooses to.
He chooses.
And she goes through all of the joys of being single at Christmas. And she has an aunt who is Kristen Chenoweth, and she's like crazy, just like gets a new man for every single holiday, and she calls him a holiday. And she ends up meeting this guy who also just had a crazy experience with a girl he went on one date with. And long story short, they decide to be each other's holiday. So then the movie spans through every holiday, right? On every holiday, they see each other. They have ground rules. They're not going to have any hanky-panky. They're not going to really talk between holidays, but they're going to be each other's date to every holiday. So then it just progresses through every holiday, and like the shenanigans of like getting fingers blown off, and like all of these crazy things that happen to these two people, or like taking a laxative, my favorite part of the movie. And it's just the most ridiculous movie. And then it ends back at Christmas. So it is kind of like a stealthy Christmas movie, because most of it's not during Christmas. But I just love it. And I rewatched it again because I watch it every year. And I was like, why do I love this movie so much? And I realized it's because they say fuck and it's a Christmas movie. And you can't get anything better than like an actual real life raunchy Christmas movie.
Oh my God. So are you finished? I don't want to interrupt.
No, that was me. That was my overview.
Okay. So like there's a blowjob in the first 5 minutes of the movie, like literally at the 5-minute mark.
Yes.
Blowjob.
Yep.
And it was I found this movie funny because like immediately, because I'm so logic brained with like what do you call it? Whenever there's like a family disrupted family, I'm like, why go? If you don't want to be there, why go? And then if you're going to do that to yourself, sit yourself at the kids' table because like you can sit at the adult table. And she's like, no, I'm going to sit at the kids' table. I'm like, why'd you go? You don't want to be there. Why did you go? And then like, I love the whole premise because it immediately falls apart. It never even gets like no one is convinced because they're like, how about we be each other's holiday? So when I go to the party, like nobody asks, like no one tries to set me up or tries to ask me if I'm dating anybody. You'll be my date. And then like instantly, like the first day, they're like not even like every holiday, they're like, are you sure? Here's a guy. There's a better guy for you. And it's like, what's like, there's no point of the holiday.
Get cancer.
Oh my gosh. What else like popped up right away? Oh my gosh. Oh, that was the other thing because you mentioned it. So I've been told my whole life is like, don't do like romantic things with significant others around the holidays because if it doesn't work out, that holiday will forever be ruined. So like in the 7-minute mark, the little brother proposes to his girlfriend, and I was like, "No, what are you doing? You don't do it. You're not supposed to do that." Oh my gosh. Oh my god. So I had to write down their names so I didn't forget because I know I would call her Emma Roberts or whatever. So her name is Sloane, and the other guy's Jackson. And the thing I love about this movie with them is that they're both kind of terrible people. Like there's reasons why the relationships never work because they're both bad. And like it's perfect that they're like going with each other on these things. Although I did notice like because like they're supposed to be I'll be your holiday. They never do like a back and forth with that. It's always just Emma Roberts' side. I kind of wish they had like okay, I'm gonna spend it with your holiday.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think
but still like have like his family come over at some point.
Right. That would have been good.
Just to mix it up because it's all like one-sided. I'm like, what's he kind of getting out of this? You know what I mean? What's he getting out of this holiday? Like if there was like maybe a business thing, like a business meeting with a golf thing, like, oh my God, I have a big client. You know, this big client, he's going to be like a sponsorship. And if we get the sponsorship, you have to be my date for that. Like that would have been cool. Like, you know, add that little bit of detail in there. That would have been sweet. But anyway, I still love them because they're both awful. And then it was funny because in the movie, they run into her ex on Valentine's Day. And then he's bumming at the mall for some reason. I'm like, what's he doing at the mall again? So he goes, and not only that, but like she has like cookie crumbs all in her hand. She like wipes it right in her hair. And I was like, oh my God, she's dressed like a bum and she just wiped cookie crumbs in
greasy hair on Valentine's Day.
It's so greasy. And then like he's just at the mall on Valentine's Day. Oh my God.
I love that like a good majority of this movie takes place in a mall that looks very resemblant to a mall that we grew up with.
like except like that mall looks like it was in its prime during the 90s.
Our mall in the prime of the 90s.
Yeah, because like now our poor mall don't look like Oh my God. But I should say that I do like the lighting in this because it was very like they heightened that stuff up. They made this movie look like $1 million. Oh yeah. Speaking of $1 million, they had CGI balloons during New Year's, and that threw me off. I was like, "Oh my God, these are fake balloons!"
I definitely.
Oh yeah, those are fake balloons for New Year's Eve. You know when they do the 10, 9, and those are CGI balloons. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Did not catch that.
Oh yeah, because I was like, "Oh God, if they're CGI balloons, what else is CGI?" And there was a shot of the kids running over the hill. I'm like, "Oh God, are those CGI kids?" Luckily, they were real kids because there is some controversy
on the interwebs.
Yeah, there's like the cat paws. So anyway, like because there's been controversy where people have been using CGI extras in movies, so I was a little worried when I saw the kids running. I'm like, oh no, please be real kids. Oh yeah, also screen legend. I don't know her name. I didn't do that much research, but like the mom from Wild America, aka the mom from Titanic, plays the mom in this movie.
Oh my God, how did I not make that connection? I love Titanic.
Oh, but she's like the mom of movies. She's like, there's like Dee Wallace from E.T., who's like the mom of the 80s. And then she's like the mom of the 90s, this woman.
Yeah,
I wish I knew her name. Let's see. Okay. I have some quotes here. It's Valentine's Day. No, it's Thursday. Oh, that cracked me up. No, it's Thursday. When I see Luke wipes candy in hair. Okay, yep, I got that. Oh yeah, that was it. The point is to not get set up with people, but like the whole movie, they keep trying to set her up with people. I was like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That really got me. Like, they're like, oh God, we have this crazy idea. We're going to do this. And they're like, oh good, it's going to work. And then immediately, no. It's like, what do you, like she told one person and that one person told the whole family. And I was like, oh my God.
I also love that the sister in this movie was in Grey's Anatomy. Because all I could see was Arizona.
Oh my God, was she from Grey's Anatomy? I've never watched the show.
Yeah, she was Arizona in whatever season. I stopped many seasons ago, but she was in Grey's during my prime.
That's right. It's still going. It's like at season 23 or something. Oh my Lord. Let's see. What else did I write? Oh yeah, this. You have like a theme with your movies. It's at least happened twice. Twice out of 10 movies. Someone shits themselves.
That's my favorite. It's like the funniest thing in the world to me. I'm like, oh my God, somebody shits their pants in this movie. It's like top 10. Like, it's so funny. I can't even contain myself.
Frances Fisher, that's her name. Yes. From Titanic.
Yes.
But it cracked me up. I'm like, oh my God, Sarah. She likes likes girls. She likes attractive women running into their houses trying to.
This is too good because you're like, wait, girls poop. What? No, it's just so funny because, well, first of all, just like the whole setup of it, she's in the super tight corset, like she can't get it off, like they gave her the wrong, and just like, oh man, it was just God. The first time I saw that, I think I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
Oh my God. I was just the whole time I was thinking like, what's Sarah? Like this is the second time it's happened. Possibly third. I'm trying to remember what the third movie was. I know it was recent. I was trying to remember if anything happened in Stepmom.
No,
no, there's no.
No
one's trying to race to go to the bathroom with Stepmom.
No, none of that in Stepmom. Maybe Beaches. I'm saying.
Maybe Beaches, the deleted scene. I could see that, like Bette Midler or Barbara Hershey trying to race to go to the bathroom.
Definitely.
Oh my God. Let's see. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Is that it? I'm trying to remember. I'm going to read this out loud and hopefully. Oh yes, I remember now. She's talking to Farquaad. So when Susan, the aunt, goes to Farquaad and says, "I fucked up," he says, "I can't imagine being happy without you," and she just starts whimpering, and it just cracked me up. I was like, "That's hilarious." That it just started like a weird joke, and then towards the end, it became like a legitimate relationship.
I love that plot twist of like Kristen Chenoweth the aunt ends up with the doctor. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see, what's my other note I have here? I thought I wanted a holiday, but the truth is I just want you. I was like, yes. This movie's great. And then oh yeah, you're the only one I'd want to go through chemo with. It's such a dark line from these terrible people who only deserve each other. That was great. I want to say terrible. They're like on the level of like Seinfeld terrible, where they're all out for themselves.
Yes.
And whenever they try to do some shenanigans, it only backfires on them.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. I will say this to you, Sarah. This avoided the problem I have with comedies.
Oh.
So like in comedies, I'd say increasingly since the late 90s, where I think it started with Liar Liar, if I remember as a child watching comedies and like, oh, what happened? What's going on here? But where a movie's funny, and then it hits a dramatic beat, and then it never really fully recovers. And it stays a drama for like the last half an hour of the movie. Especially a great example, the best example for me, Bruce Almighty. Funny. The minute Jennifer Aniston is crying and praying to God that her life is better, it never is funny again. The rest of the movie is drama. And this movie avoided that. It avoided the problems of all those comedies where it's like dysfunctional family, and then it hits that emotional like plateau in the third act, end of the second act. Like, because at the end of that part, it's the guy where the guy has a heart attack, but it's still funny because they're all terrible.
They're like, what's his name? I have to go with him.
Yeah, I have to go with him, and they go to the hospital with him, and it's like still funny, and it never gets too dramatic. It stays funny, and I was like, wow, a Netflix movie that I've never heard of, starring, Hollywood sweetheart Emma Roberts, did it. I don't know how, but they did it. It was still funny through the end of the movie. They didn't go too serious. It didn't get too sappy. They were still funny, awful people.
Yes, I Shane just said that more movies should have actual terrible people as main characters, and I can't agree more. Like, we've seen enough of Cindy Lou Who. Like, we've seen enough of the like.
Yeah, he's seen enough of perfect people, because the thing that cracked me up is usually in movies like this, like the boyfriend guy would be like, he would have like a rich job, like he's like a agent or something, like a sports agent, or he like works in a high rise and has an office. This dude's like a bum. He's like,
it's like a prison.
A golf thing. I was like, what the hell? He's just working at a golf thing, and like his apartment's all nicely decorated. I'm like, that's not the house of a golfer. No. Oh my gosh.
I think that was the most unrealistic part of this movie, was seeing their houses. I'm like, no, you're not that shitty of a person with that cute of a house. Like, there's no way.
Yep, Shane Ford brings it up too. The comedy drama switch is a big problem I had with No Hard Feelings. Yes.
I was so disappointed by that movie. I loved it. It was good, but it just, I don't know. There was something unsatisfying about it. It's probably
there's something about it. Yeah, because it gets a little dramatic at the end, and it never really fully recovers. A lot of movies have that problem, but I feel like Holiday avoids that because it's still funny. Even as the drama is happening, it's funny. Because like he's having a heart attack, and they're like, give him the Heimlich maneuver, and the dumbass is like, I know how to do the Heimlich maneuver, and they're like, no, he's having a heart attack, and then like he snaps his fingers and points and shakes his head. I was like, that's hilarious. Oh my god. And then like you kissed the Black Panther, and I love that they couldn't get the rights for the Black Panther, so he was wearing a Black Panther mascot suit. I was like, that's hilarious. Oh my god. Oh,
so good.
It was good, Sarah. It was good.
I feel pleased with myself.
What's funny, Sarah? This also made me realize, like, there's only two genres that I could get. Like, it could be like a bad movie, and it still gets a pass for me. It's Christmas and like horror movies. Like, it doesn't matter if they're like terrible, but like if you get some enjoyment out of it, it's great. It's the best.
I mean, I personally have such low expectations for Christmas movies because we grew up with Hallmark and Lifetime. So like bar is like ridiculously low. So anything that like,
as long as you believe at the end and they get together and the spirit of Christmas is there, you got me.
Got it. I've watched like probably 20 Christmas movies at this point this season, and like they were all pretty low bar. But I'm like, this is great. Bar. This is great.
Low bar.
Oh, I want to see that one. I want to get to the movies to see that.
Yes, Wonderful Life is the best bad movie. Sarah, this one is like a twist on It's a Wonderful Life, and their intention was to make it look cheap, like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I want to.
So when you watch the movie, there's like hardly people on the streets, but it's because they watch so many Hallmark movies. They're like, this is what they look like.
There's like 3 extras in the whole thing.
There's like 3 extras or whatever. It's so great.
Yep.
So good. So good. Oh my gosh.
This is a yearly rotation. Sometimes it's 2 times a year. Sometimes this gets a mid-year watch from me even.
I believe that. I believe you, Sarah. Because this is the movie that keeps on giving. You could watch it on any holiday.
It's never not funny. I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times at this point, and it's never not funny. There's always a part of it where you're like, these people are so.
This is definitely a comfort film. I could feel that. This is definitely a comfort film. I feel it. I feel it in my bones.
feel it in my bones.
Feel it in my bones.
All right. So what was your favorite part of the movie?
Okay, my favorite part. Oh, damn. Now you put me on the spot. Okay. I think my favorite part, I think it's like, I think I wrote it down. Like there's like one shot in the like 20-minute mark. So I wrote down 20 minutes. Like he already caught feelings 20 minutes in the movie. Like there's a shot where he like looks at her and I'm like, oh geez, he's caught feelings already.
He had feelings from the beginning. Like from the moment.
I love like that's okay. Hang on, audience. Maybe I'll pick this as my favorite scene because I'm going to go into extravagant detail with it. So like when I say they're terrible people, it opened like the reason why they meet is because they're both in the mall in the middle of the day on a Wednesday, trying to return clothes to get money back. They're shitty people.
But no, you gotta add like they're trying to return clothes, and the clothes that Jackson is trying to return is from this girl he went on 2 dates with, and she went psycho, invited him to their party, and she gave him like $80. And he's like, he didn't get her gift, and he's like, what? You here, take $80. And she's like, so you're paying me like a prostitute?
A prostitute. So like the pants are like $80 and he wants the $80 and they won't give it to him. They'll only give him store credit. And then Emma Roberts is like, I want to return my stuff. And they're like, no, your stuff was on clearance. It's like $4.99. It's like nothing.
Or whatever.
So they like turn around to the eavesdropper, which I found hilarious because I'm like the eavesdropper exists in real life. So like they turn to the eavesdropper and say, hey, do you want this for $50? We'll give it to you for $50. And she's like, no, 40. And then Emma Roberts is like 45 and the pretzel coupon. And then like the next shot, they're in the hallway eating the pretzel. I'm like, you bums. You bums. They probably took money.
Emma Roberts. Just load.
They split the 20. Oh my God, or whatever. They split the 40. Oh my God. It just cracked me up that they're like that, like from the beginning. And at the end, they're basically the same. There's no change. I think that's the other thing that reminded me like they're like sort of like Seinfeld characters because in the beginning they're the same. At the end, they're the same. There's like no change.
Yes. Anti-hero movie. They just like consistency.
They're consistent.
Yeah.
And like, oh my God, and the adventures they get on are just equally consistent. I love it. Oh my gosh. So I'd say that's my favorite scene is when they meet because that totally sets the tone of the movie. Like, okay, this is not like Tom Hanks or Meg Ryan, where they're both like lovely people. No, this is like, no, there's a reason why these people are single. There's a reason why the relationships don't work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I give it. I think I'll give it 1 rose.
1 rose. Okay. All right.
1 rose. And that's my favorite scene.
All right.
So, what's your favorite scene?
Okay. Well, obviously, my favorite scene is the scene where she poops her pants, but we're gonna like put that on the back burner because I already talked about it. So, my second favorite scene. My second favorite scene is, oh my God, 4th of July. When they blow, well, first of all, they get like the really uptight sister-in-law who's literally probably never even drank alcohol in her life to smoke weed in the car with this date that Kristen Chenoweth brings, who's like a total pothead. And so they're smoking, like, I don't feel anything. And then she's like munching on all of like eating a whole bowl of potato salad or whatever it was. Yeah. And she's like, I guess I'm just one of those people that this doesn't affect. And Sloane's like, yeah, okay. And then
we stop at Burger King before we get to the hospital.
Yes, and then he blows his finger off, and they're all stoned. Everybody's stoned, and she's trying to drive to the hospital. I'm like, I didn't know you could be that bad at driving. Like every time she's trying to drive, I'm just cracking up so hard where she's like almost hitting things and like swerving down the road, and then.
He hits like everything out that driveway, every single thing.
It's incredible. And then she gets to when they get to the hospital and they're smoking in the hospital and just like giggling and making all the finger jokes. And then like the doctor comes in and makes the finger joke and they're like, that wasn't funny.
Yeah, that's not funny. Like, you're not part of this.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just like I like those, like, I guess I do have like a type. I like ridiculous comedy like that, where it's just like, this is so crazy and ridiculous. Like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. And it just, because I feel like that's life. Like when things could totally just go wrong. And like the only thing you can do is laugh. Like, this is ridiculous. Yes. It's funny, right?
Yes. Speaking of too close to life, so when they met the ex on Valentine's Day and then they see them in Halloween, I was like, he got her pregnant on Valentine's Day. Like, I knew instantly when I saw her pregnant, like, they did it on Valentine's Day, and then they're on the way home. And you're like, they did it on Valentine's Day. Like, she's realizing that. I'm like, yep, that's exactly what that is. Like, this movie's too real.
So
oh my
good.
Gosh.
Yep, it's good. Oh, my Rosenbaum. I would honestly give it 2.5 roses. Like, it's
yeah, this is definitely your comfort movie. I could feel.
I love it.
Yes.
So 2.5 for me.
Yes. So what do we talk about? Do we talk about your second one next?
I think we should popcorn. How about we go to yours and then back to mine and then back, because we have
yeah. So I get up. Okay.
Yeah.
So the one I picked for Sarah was the Polar Express, because normally I would, pick Home Alone or It's a Wonderful Life or Christmas Vacation, but it's like, let's mix it up. Let's stir the pot. Let's pick another movie. Let's pick Polar Express. So Polar Express, to me, I only discovered it probably 3-4 years ago. I skipped out it when it was in the theater, because back then I was like really reading Entertainment Weekly, and everyone said that it was cold and frozen and no one really liked it. I think my family said they liked it, but I'm like, so I finally see this because, at the Regal, they usually do like, we'll play 5 holiday movies like Elf, Christmas Vacation, Polar Express. So me and my mom were like, yeah, let's go see it. It's only $5, Polar Express. Let's go see it. Our lives were changed forever. We were like, this is the best movie ever. So the movie is about this boy who really doesn't believe, but every ounce of energy he wants to believe. It's like both like 100% of like not believe and believe are like crashing heads, because like he's got magazines, he's got all this stuff, but he's always checking. And when he thinks it's real and it's like, oh, it's not real, it's like he really wants to believe. And then this train comes by and Tom Hanks comes out in his CGI form and says, little boy, this is the Polar Express. Are you in or out? And the boy's like, I guess I'm in. So he gets on the train, and then he meets the little girl, he meets the nerdy boy, and then they meet the poor boy later on. The poor boy who's like, Christmas just doesn't work out for me. And it's like, it's perfect. We got the non-believer, we got the person who Christmas doesn't work out, and we got the believer. We got the little girl who believes. And they go on this adventure. They're like on the train. There's some caribou. They go through the hills. We see another Tom Hanks in full Burbs mode on top of the train. Ho, 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 which is great. And then they get to the town, and Sarah, before I even talk about my favorite part, I'm going to talk about my favorite part now. Like, from the point when they see Santa, when the doors open up and he says, I can't see him, until the end narration of the movie, like, I'm in tears. I'm on a puddle on the floor. I love this movie because, like, oh my God, it's all about believing the spirit of Christmas and like helping out others, because they're helping out that little boy this whole time because he's like, Christmas don't work out for me. It's so great. And like, it's all this weird ass like dream-like stuff where it's like in the mixture of like, that is believable, like, and then there's stuff where it's like, that's unbelievable, which is perfect. It's like that night, like that dream-like thing at the end. And anyway, that's the Polar Express. So Sarah, what did you think of the Polar Express?
All right. Okay. It took me a second to get past the animation, and I know we talked about this last time, but Okay, I'm a big Tom Hanks fan. So like anything with Tom Hanks already gets like a instant boost to begin with. And I love that Tom
He
Hanks.
played the little boy. Did you know that?
He what?
He played the little boy.
No, it was Josh Hutcherson. That's another one. Josh Hutcherson from the.
What? I thought it was him doing the motion capture. What?
Maybe I know Josh Hutcherson was the voice of the little boy.
Oh yeah, he's the voice, but I think Tom Hanks like played him motion capture.
I did not know that. I love that Tom Hanks is multiplied in the movie. He's like Santa. He's the hobo. He's the conductor. Like he's all so many. Like they just like. I feel like they just invested in one really big actor, and they're like, you're gonna play all the parts.
Yeah.
But I do love the premise of it, right? And I remember the first time that I saw this, I was probably right at that age, right, where it was like
the age of not believing.
Yeah, I don't think Santa's real. And my dad, he was so sweet. Like it was like right around when my mom and dad got divorced, maybe 2 years after it. So we were still like, Christmas was new, like doing 2 Christmases. And my dad, like, I think he just wanted me to stay a little girl forever. And so I think he loved that movie because it was like, you can still believe. And then he bought me for Christmas, like the bell, right? So we always had the bell on the tree that would ring. So there's definitely a hardcore, like, sentimental value to this movie for me because it reminds me a lot of my dad and he loved it. So we'd watch it together. Maybe not every year, but every couple years. And he bought it on DVD because, we had to have it. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed that. And it's, what I was really struck by with this movie is, and I know it's towards the beginning of like that that type of filming, but there's an element of like artistry, like beauty, like they really invested a lot in the set of like the images of the ticket, right? There's that whole sequence of the ticket flying, and then you see the rain, the wolf, and like all the things, right? Like there's a lot of like just taking in the place where this takes place, like the in the North Pole, and it's almost like the other thing that was really interesting is the elves, right? They're all the same, right? It's almost like they all look the same. So it was almost like they wanted like Santa to be so extraordinary, right? Like everything else so pared down compared to Santa, right? So like that excitement because everything else looks the same and everything else is kind of like the blues and the thing, right? So it really brings up Santa. And I really like the parts. I like the heart of the movie, right? Because it's about that little boy, right? Like that's really the spirit to me. And that's what every freaking movie, I just cry all Christmas long because I'm just like, oh, everybody's such good people. Oh, like, yeah. They actually, it's like through the believing, like you in helping other people, right? Like that's how you find belief and faith and like the goodness. Yeah. Right. And that's really what the movie's about for the young boy, which I don't think he's named. I don't think any of the kids are named.
No, none of the kids are named. No.
Yeah. And that's another like it leaves me with so many questions because I'm like, and I think that's kind of the point. It's like, was this a dream? Like, how do they pick what kids go on this? Do they ever see the kid? Like, do they see each other again? Like, there's so many, like, it's such a fantasy, right? Which is also why I think, like, as much as I'm like, okay, it took me a little bit to get used to the animation. And I couldn't figure out what it was about the animation. I'm like, I love animated movies. And it's just like, I don't know if it was too real or too not real, or like they looked like, I don't know what it was, but it just looked different. But I think it kind of fits with the feel because it's like, it's that dream state. Like, is it this or is it, right? What is it, right?
For sure. For sure. It's by Robert Zemeckis. So he was the guy who did Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump, What Lies Beneath. So this is like him like doing like all the stops, all the moves. Like he's going through like the magazine, he's going through the books, he's like flying above the kids. He's like inches away from their shoes when they're walking on the thing. Like he's flying with that ticket. Like to me, like it's almost like how the feather flies in Forrest Gump. That's like he had a vision for that, and then he finally was able to do something in the CGI world where it's like fate and destiny of this ticket has to get back to its owner. But yeah, there's a lot of great camera work, a lot of great what do you call it, imagination through the adventure. Because I'm sure the short story is just like the boy gets on the train, he gets there, and then it's all over. But like, yep, they got to stretch it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about I do agree. Because I said dreamlike. It's very dreamlike, where it's like things are like slow, and then almost like weightless, like that star falling, and then them being able to pick it up and put it back on the tree, and then like not hearing the bells, because that could be something like in a dream where you're like, why can't I hear that? Or you see something in a dream where it's like that something's not right, and then it kind of clicks together. You know what I mean?
And then and then there's the part, I don't know if you probably remember this because you've seen it a million times, but there's the part where like he rips his house coat before he leaves, but then the next morning his house coat isn't ripped until he runs downstairs.
Yes.
So I'm like, that's the part where it's like, ooh, that's a clue. Like, what does this mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a little like oh my gosh, I was just gonna say, did you ever see Krampus? But I don't think you did.
No.
But like Krampus is like the rated R version of Polar Express. It's very similar. Very similar. Because it begins and ends similar to that, where you think, was it a dream? Was it a nightmare? And then, it was real. And they both have opposite bells. One bell is from Santa and one's from Krampus. And both have bells. Very similar movies. Very, very similar movies. I love that. So what else I want to mention about Polar Express? What I should say, what really gets me about the ending and why I'm always a good puddle on the floor is just because this boy throughout the whole movie has been questioning everything. Like, are you sure? We got to stop the train. We can't do this. Are you sure about that? Are you sure? He's always like double checking you. Like, he doesn't believe you. Like, you'll say like, oh yeah, the water's blue. Like, the water's wet. And the boy would be like, are you sure? And at the end of the movie, he just finally believes, like, yes, I can hear the bell ring. Yes, Santa, I can see Santa. Where it's like, yes, I believe. I believe you. I believe, yes, I believe you that we're going to have a good time. I believe that this is going to happen. He just finally lets in the other thing. And it's almost like all the other kids, but, they do have to learn their own lessons, including that stupid nerdy kid, which is perfect. Because I know that nerdy, he's like 60 years old doing that voice. But like that nerdy kid. And then the little girl is like lead, like she has to learn about her confidence and about that throughout the whole movie. And then that little poor boy, oh my God, who willing to go on. It's like, so good.
The whole time I was watching it and the nerdy kid came up, I was like, God, I can't stand that kid. He's just like, every time he's like, I can't stand that kid.
I think he's credited as know-it-all, I think.
Yeah.
Know-it-all. Yep. Yeah, but I know that voice. He's been around since I was a kid. Did you ever see Rockadoodle?
No.
No? Okay, never mind then. That's a whole different story. But yeah, he did a voice in Rockadoodle. So that gets me. And then the first gift, when he gets him the bell, and then he puts it in the pocket, and then it falls out. But then they, like, it's okay though, because the experience was worth it. Like, he's bummed out, but he's like, no, I met Santa. I made some good friends, had a fun time. This is fine. Yeah, it's so good. At least to me, it's like, I like it. I like this movie. It's one of those ones I have to check in on like at least once, but like that whole ending sequence is perfect to me. And as you were saying, I'm like, why are all these elves the same? For a second there, I thought all the elves were guys until that dates the movie Aerosmith sequence on Top of the World. That's when the female elves show up. I'm like, oh good, there's female elves. It's not as weird. But like, to me, that's like the only thing.
Men too. I was like, no women elves. Like, where'd all the elves come from? Do they just clone themselves?
He just cloned. Oh my god! Yeah, there's a whole cloning facility.
The Santa Claus, right? The elf, like the.
Oh yeah, where they just put them through the machine. Yes. Oh my god. What else was it just thinking of? Oh yeah, that's it. Other than the animation, I think the Aerosmith sequence is the only thing that dates this.
Yeah, it's a pretty timeless movie. Like I was actually
Yeah.
in ours, like when was this made? And I thought it was, I'm like, oh, like 2010, 20, and I'm like, wow, 2004. Like
Mhm.
I was really surprised that it's been that many years. It's almost 20 years old.
Yep.
And you would
Mhm.
like never know that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when you say when you couldn't really connect with the animation, I think it's the eyes,
Yeah.
possibly, and also maybe not the much control over their faces at that point. I think because there's some things in the movie where like I can see what they're trying to do because I just got the 4K, so I was watching the 4K. I'm like, oh, because like the kid's trying to do like emotional thing, but it's like the motion capturing wasn't there for the face yet. They're
Okay.
trying, but
It's
it's
just
not
like I
quite
couldn't
there
put
yet.
my finger on it. I'm just like, I don't understand what it is. Like, but it's something.
Mhm.
Yeah, it probably
Mhm.
is that. Because it is, they're like kind of dolls in a way. Or like,
Yeah,
yeah.
very much, so. Very much so. I agree with that. They're like dolls.
But
But yeah,
it's a solid one. Solid Christmas
a
movie.
solid one. Solid one. It's a holiday. It's a solid one.
Jacob's
My
like,
my holiday
I love
movie.
it.
So what's your favorite scene?
Okay, I really like the scene with the hobo when he's on top of the on the train. I also was having anxiety the whole time, like, oh my god, is he gonna fall off the train? How is he gonna stay on the train? Like, I'm like, I was really invested at that point. I'm like, it's so slippery, and I just think like I was doing a lot of like, what is this why is this character here? Like, what does he represent, right? And I was just trying to, you have like the conductor, right? He's like the leader, he's the one who believes. You got Santa, he's like the emblem of belief, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
almost, it's like the hobo like just believes like I'm gonna have a place to sleep, like this train's gonna be here, it's like I'm okay with where I am in my life. But he's such an interesting character to me, and
Mm-hmm.
I like those scenes that he's in it because it also adds like an element of like the movie in and of itself is magical, but like his character makes it more magical because he's so mysterious. And like in my head, I'm like, I think that he's Santa Claus. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
that the hobo is Santa Claus, like reincarnated, like the spirit of Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's like he's like the forcing factor that makes the boy need to believe, right?
Yeah, he's almost like a Santa Claus in disguise.
Right.
Testing the boy, like, do you believe? Are you sure you want to be here? Let's go on this adventure. Let's get this ticket to this girl. Like he's like testing the boy almost,
Yeah, and
making it feel like he's like on the path.
it's almost like a part of him like manifested, like a part of the boy. It's like the skeptical part of the boy.
Yes, exact. Oh my god, that's perfect. It is like the skeptical part of the boy,
Yeah.
or maybe
But it's like the
it
skeptical
could be
part
either
that
way.
wants to believe. Like he wants to believe, but he's also skeptical, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally,
So I
totally.
just like I like the scenes that he's in. And I like that I think it's at the beginning, if I remember right, where they're panning over the train and then you see the hobo sleeping under it and you're like, or no, it
Yeah,
was the ticket sequence.
yeah. The ticket goes underneath the train.
You're
Yep,
like, what's this guy? What's this dude doing here? Right.
yep, yep. Oh yeah,
So
so that was your favorite scene, the hobo.
I like
Hobo
hope. And
scene.
I like the hot chocolate scene, but that's pretty
Hot
classic.
chocolate.
I know. I mean, everybody loves the hot chocolate scene, so I had to be a little more creative there.
And then she's just like hiding the chocolate underneath her seat.
Super cute.
Okay, so that leads us to the second syrup pick.
Or no, the Rosenbaum first.
Oh wait, the Rosenbaum. Okay, we'll do the Rosenbaum. Okay, you said one, solid one.
Solid. Yeah,
Mine,
I'll go with one rose. Yeah.
I'll go solid two for me.
Okay.
Two.
Okay.
Give me
Love
two
it.
roses.
Two
Two.
roses.
Two roses.
Tuna.
Yes. Okay. So we get to the next syrup.
I'm actually glad that Grandma got run over by a reindeer didn't work out because I forgot how much I love this Christmas movie. It is, besides It's a Wonderful Life, which has to like, I love that movie. This is like up there, top Christmas movie. Like I cry every single time I watch it, like multiple times throughout the thing. I'm like sobbing stupidly. So Klaus is a animated film, also produced by Netflix. It won a bunch, like an Academy Award, and it's about I also love that our movies are different takes on the origin story of Santa Claus.
It was when I was watching this movie, I'm like, hot damn, this is just like a remix of it. But
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it's the origin story of Santa Claus, but it's told by the perspective of a postman who is like, you know, it reminded me a lot of The Emperor's New Groove, actually, the beginning. I was like, the only thing that would make this movie better is if David Spade was the voice of the postman.
I was thinking the exact same thing while watching this movie. The exact same thing. I was like, because I was like desperately, like, I'm going through Wikipedia. I'm like, they must have worked on Emperor's New Groove. There's no way. There's no way.
Did they?
Because the similarities are so crazy. No, I thought they did. I was trying to find connection.
Man. No, but the beginning, I'm like, wow, this has strong Cusco vibes. I really wish that the postman was David Spade, but so David Spade, very much like Cusco, and his dad.
And Claus kind of like John Goodman, weirdly enough.
Oh, he is. Oh, that would have been a good cast too. They should remake it with those voices.
Emperor's New Groove remake.
But make it Christmas. So postman is like comes from a wealthy father. He's like purposely flunking out of postal school, and his dad's like, I'm gonna cut you off if I'm giving you this really impossible assignment, and if you don't get your shit together, you're cut off, bro. You know, like no more silk sheets, no more caviar, you're done. And so he sends Jasper, right? His name's Jasper. Yeah, Jasper.
Yes, Jasper.
He sends him to like the North. It's called Smeedsburg or like
Smeedsburg or something like that.
It's like this sad place. It's probably the North Pole, right? We're not sure, but
we'll call it like a North Pole island. It's like a little island like that shut off from the world.
This island is basically like this feuding. It's like the Montagues and the Hatfields. Like it's this feuding family where in like one family is redheaded, one family is dark haired, and they hate each other and they like do terrible things to each other. There's like a family of kids that look like they should be in a Tim Burton movie, which I also love that there's only 4 characters that like look like they should be in Tim Burton with their faces, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
And he gets there, and his goal is to have 6,000 pieces of mail sent post by him, and he gets there and realizes like these people hate each other, trying to kill each other, and nobody sends mail. Like, what am I gonna do? And so he's trying every angle, and he's like, just failure after failure. And he ends up finding this this woodworker in the middle of nowhere who, like, at first you're like, is this guy an axe murderer? Like, which way is this going? He's real weird, all these toys. But he ends up seeing like a letter from a sad child and like basically kidnaps Jesper and is like, we're going to go deliver a toy. And Jesper's like, holy shit, I'm going to die. And they end up creating this whole operation of delivering toys to sad children and then, the whole kind of roots part of this movie is that like an act of goodness will inspire other acts of goodness. And it just has so many like really beautiful feel good moments. And like, I think this is one of those movies, other than It's a Wonderful Life, it's one of those movies that just really make me feel the spirit of Christmas, like the spirit of selflessness, of gift giving, of personal growth. And it has this beautiful ending that destroys me every time, where Klaus is the toy maker who becomes Santa Claus, right? And he lost his wife. They could never have kids. And he just kind of like disappears. Like he's this magical being.
I'm like, yep, this is a Sarah movie.
Yeah. And he disappears. He dies, maybe, who knows? But he still comes back once a year. And it's kind of fun. Like, and I was enjoying this as I was watching the Santa Claus movie today. I'm like, they weave in all the little parts of the story. Like, they put, like he goes down the chimney because like there's a dog trying to attack him, or like he knows when you've been naughty and nice to like, cause the one kid's a brat and he gives him some coal, right? So they weave in the Santa story, and it's really Jesper just making up the whole thing, right? Like Santa in this movie, Klaus is literally just the dude who makes toys and delivers. Like Jesper is like the PR guy. He's like, I'm going to make this a holiday. Like I'm going to make this a thing, And there's a love story, there's love, there's growth, there's, there's conflict and battle. It's a great Christmas movie overall. So I'm super curious, Frank, what did you think of it?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great. Although like, it's so funny because mine was Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And it's like basically like the same beat. So I'm guessing the Santa Claus story must have like certain beats. And then if you just take those and just run with it and you do your own, I'm like, okay, So like all these things must be in the original story because both of them have them, and they both did different things with them. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. But yeah, I liked it. I instantly thought it was like Emperor's New Groove. I'm like, holy smokes, this guy is just basically like Cusco. I think that's the name, right?
Cusco, yep.
Yeah, Cusco, David Spade.
Yeah, Cusco the
And
Emperor.
then the thing that made me go like, "Aw," like 15 minutes in or whatever, how long it was when you meet the boat captain, and it's Norm Macdonald. And Norm Macdonald's one of my favorite comedians, and he passed away like last 2-3 years.
Aww.
So to hear his voice in something, I was like, "Oh, good, he gets to live forever," because it's a Christmas movie, and I'm sure people revisit every year. So Norm Macdonald lives through this movie. I was like, "Oh, that's special." And then it's funny because it's the main character is Jason Schwartzman, I believe. But it was so weird to see him outside of a Wes Anderson movie. So to see him in like a normal, like everyday movie, I was like, "Oh, this is weird." Well, yeah, he's basically like trying to get out of the town, so he was making all these rules up, like, "Oh yeah, he sees you when he's sleeping, put the coal in there." But then he learns to love and give into that and sees the difference that he's made there, and it's wonderful. And that little tribe on the outside, the whatever there are, like the elves, basically, they come into town and they all speak a foreign language. And then the teacher, who's not a teacher, she sells fish. That's great. And then she slowly becomes a teacher again and regains to love what she does. And then the two factoring families have to get together at the end because I was like, it's got to happen. So like the big daughter and the big son, they fall in love. I was like, that's great. I do love, that made me go like, "Aw," is that the people who live on the opposite ends of the fence end up start like dating. I was like, "Oh, that's cute." And then like you think he's gonna like patch up the fence, and then you find out he made a playground for both their children to play at. I was like, that's great. That's so sweet. And then like I'm like, okay, I know the sad part's coming. Why did he make all these toys? And then there's the reveal. Oh yeah, me and my wife, we wanted to have children, but they never came. But I kept making these toys,
and then she
got sick, and then she died,
and
I was like, she liked birds, so I couldn't stop building birdhouses. And then like she's like the freaking wind, she's like nature, and I was like, "Oh, that's beautiful."
I know. Pocahontas. Pocahontas.
I know. I was just gonna say that, but I avoided saying. But yes, it was Pocahontas. Oh my gosh. Oh, the winds. Oh my gosh. So there's that, and then there's like a lot of like bits and pieces of stuff, like you said, Tim Burton, because there's very Burton-esque things there, like the character design wise, like they look like Wednesday Addams. They look like
they have like the dark circles around their eyes, but it's only those 4 kids. Like the rest of the kids don't have that look to them, so it always makes me cool because I'm like, oh, there's just a little bit of Burton here.
yeah. And then the teacher, like how she regains her love is when yeah, sure, you spelled your name, and the kids are like, "Oh, I could spell my name. I want to spell my name." I was like, "Oh my God."
I know.
And then it's just good. It's so good. Like, and not only that, but it was like, since I hadn't seen this before, it was like a breath of fresh air to see something that wasn't a CGI. I'm sure they use CGI to make it, but it more looked like paper cutouts or something like that. Or like
the animation on it, like it's. I love my favorite. Oh, not my favorite scene, but like the imagery I love the most is the birdhouses. Like I would want a print of that on my wall. Like I just think that that's with the wind going, like it's beautiful.
One of my favorite shots in the movie, because you just brought it up. Again, it reminded me like of Fantasia or something, but it's like not even Fantasia. It was freaking Prince of Egypt. But there's a shot where they're running over the ice on a sled, and then like lightning flashes or something, and you can see under the water where it's like the whale underneath the ice. And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool! This is what you could do with animation." Because like there's so many shots in here that you could take a screenshot and like that's great. That's great.
Yep.
They really did some great money shots and like storyboarded as well. and I thought that was fun.
I also
The
love
voice acting-
when they decorate the WoW skeleton when they make it a tree.
That's right. That's right. They turn that creepy thing into a nice like little bay so everyone can skate. I thought that was nice as well. Yeah, it's a good movie. I really like it. It's definitely it's the updated version of my favorite Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
I haven't seen Santa Claus is Coming to Town in so many years. And when I rewatched it today, I'm like, oh my God, this is like the same story, but like in the 70s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a good one. I highly recommend. And Full Metal just said that they were stopping by to say hello. So hello.
Hello, Becky. Hello, friend of the show, Becky.
I love
Hello,
the
hello.
cat. Oh my God, I love your picture.
Yes, look at her picture.
Little cat monster.
Cat.
Super cute.
I love cats.
Me
Oh
too.
yeah, everyone say hello to her cat, Sarah's cat.
This is Sheldon. If somebody is artistic and wants to like do one of those cute little drawings, you know, of like the shape of a cat, at the beginning, it's like, yes, Sheldon is on drugs right now because he just had a little kitty incident, but he's doing fine.
He's healing.
Yes.
Let him heal, audience. Let him heal. So the rating. Oh yeah, I should say my favorite scene, right? Let's go with favorite scene.
Oh man.
Favorite scene.
Favorite scene.
Oh God, what's my favorite scene?
They're all so good. I'm trying to think of which scene makes me cry the most. They all make
I'm trying to think what favorite. I think I gotta go with. No, I can't.
It's just also good. That's something else that I like about this. Like most Christmas movies, like it gets to the pinnacle moment and that's when I cry. But this is one of those rare movies where like I cry like there's like a place at 40 minutes in and then like 50 minutes. Like there's multiple inflection points where I'm like, oh my God. It's like I think the first place I broke this time was when the little Somali girl comes and she wants to learn English and he takes her to the teacher's house. I just started crying there. I'm like, oh my God, he's growing hard. He's not the Grinch anymore. Like, he's not so sad.
That's true too. He's got a Grinch-like body.
He does. He's a little fat down there.
He has like a little fat Grinch body, but like he's like Emperor's New Groove. And the teacher is totally Jessica from Santa Claus is Coming to Town, for sure.
100%.
For sure. 100%.
But like a saucier, like if Jessica was like a modern day feminist.
Yes.
Saucier
for
version.
sure.
Yeah.
Saucy. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I just watched it yesterday. I have seen it. I swear to God, I've seen it. I swear to you. I'm trying to think of my favorite scene because like everything's so good about it. Oh damn! What's my favorite scene? I get because like there's like little moments that pop out to me, even though they're not my favorite. I do like when like the two fracturing families are like, look at it, where's your clan? And like it's only the 8 of them standing there. It's like why continue this? But they still want to continue.
And then the bell rings and they fight each other anyways.
Yeah. Like
oh my God! By the way, the leader of the black-haired clan is 100% Yzma.
Oh my God, she is. Holy smoke, she is. Like the whole design.
Yeah.
And they got the voice of Jackie.
Like if Kronk was the leader of a clan, it's the redheaded clan.
Yeah, because he's like, if you say who,
yeah,
swear to God,
you always have this feud. Like you're too stupid.
Like, how are you still alive? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think I got to go with my favorite part.
Okay.
Is when the little girl, the Sweelie girl, is like on her sled and she slides and she sees the boat going away and she's like, Jasper. And she cries and you're like, and you hear is like, no, it's okay, kid, or whatever. And he's still there on the edge of the boat. Like, it looks like you missed the ship or whatever, or you missed the boat. I was like, great, he stayed. I thought there was gonna be some action sequence where he had to find a way and swim to the shore, but they avoided all that nonsense. He just got off. He was honest to his father. Oh my God, I think that's the part I like too. So like Norm Macdonald is trying to roast him about like, yeah, you're going home, and he's like, oh. And like the dad's like, "What's up?" He says, "I never seen a postman so sad to leave his post." And then he sits down with his son, and the son looks up. Like I think that's my favorite part right there. There's like no words because he sits down across from his son, and he looks at him. The son looks up, and his eyes are like welling up with tears. I'm like, you don't need to say nothing. You got what you need from that the animation because it's so good. And they cut away from that, and then the next scene is the little girl coming up and wanting. So that whole sequence right there.
Oh, it's such a good one. That's a good choice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, my favorite scene. I think it's hard for me to pick one too because I'm like, there's so many good.
Yeah, there's so many good parts. Yeah.
I do really love that scene where he walks into like he walks away into nothingness. Because like I remember the first time I watched it, I'm like, oh, they're just like they're not showing him die, but like Jesper's gonna come and find him, passed out or something in the woods.
Nope.
And then he doesn't, and it's like and the other one that I really love, the other scene I really love is the first time Jesper finds Klaus. And the wind, like it's all happening behind. I love this part. It makes
me sorry where he's like totally not noticing.
Yeah, and the wind is like this. It's like
circling around him, like you need to stay with the person, guide him. Yeah. You need to help him. And then Klaus, Jasper looks right, and then and then
it just goes away, and he's like, "What?" And Klaus is like, "Okay."
I seen something. Like we need to work together.
That makes me giggle. I like the dynamic between Klaus and Jesper because it's like Jesper's like the young, naive, like doesn't know much about the world, and Klaus has seen shit. He's like, but they have that comedic. I like that comedic. Bond between the two.
It hit me in the heart when you just said that because it reminded me of the end. Because they do that narration stuff that always gets me, and like the time jump. Mm-hmm. Where you oh god, I don't want to cry. I'm gonna hold strong. I've been crying too many times on these darn streams. But like there's a part where they show little Jasper with the mustache and he goes to see Klaus, and Klaus is getting older throughout the years. And then you see the two kids that Jasper has had, and he says, I gotta steal the mail, put the stamp on. I was like, oh my gosh, Jasper, you're not selfish anymore. You're a family man.
Oh, now I got chills on my back.
It's a good movie, Sarah. It's a good movie. How dare you?
Yeah, it's a class. I give it 3 roses. Like this is top tier.
Oh yeah, solid 3. This is 3. This is amazing. I wish there was like a 4K or Blu-ray of this because I'm sure the Netflix. Like it's good, but like I can only imagine like it was like crisp. Like oh my god, the animation probably really stand out.
I feel like pretty good. Like 2 good Netflix. I served you 2 good Netflix specials this time.
Yeah, I served you 2.
I got you. You finally got Netflix, and I gave you 2 good things to start with.
Well, don't get too excited. I'm canceling it the minute this month is over. I'm not sticking with Netflix
until I find the Netflix one.
If you do plan for Netflix, plan for whenever Beverly Hills Cop 4 comes out, because that's when I want to re-sign up.
That's fair.
That's the Netflix exclusive, and I'm like, damn, that should be theatrical. But anyway. So 3 Roses' favorite scene. Okay. So we get to my favorite, which is Santa Claus is Coming to Town by Rankin Bass. I'm not sure in the rank of which movies it was, but I'm sure it's like one of the earlier ones before they get on to like A Year Without a Santa Claus and all that other ones. I think Rudolph was the first one because Rudolph doesn't have a cameo in this. And so when I was a kid, we'll talk about this real quick. So there's a little cameo by Rudolph in this. And when I was a kid, I always thought it was like an off-model Rudolph. But in the Blu-ray I just watched, that is the puppet Rudolph. I was like, holy smokes. And I even did like a side-by-side because someone had a VHS rip and the Blu-ray rip. And it's like, you could tell the difference. Like the VHS looks like a dark, deer. And the other one was like, nope, that's Rudolph. So anyway, Santa Claus is Coming to Town is definitely one of my all-time favorite Christmas specials. And the reason why is I reference this movie all the goddamn time. Like Sarah, this is like top tier movie reference for me. Like
Whoa.
there's like a lot of things in this movie that I reference. Like whenever I feel worn out about being creative or whatever, I always compare myself to the Winter Warlock, where it's like all I have is I lost all my magic. All I have left are half candles and feed that makes reindeer fly. And then one of my other favorite lines in this is like, "I'm a man now, Tanta," or like the other one's like, whenever like I on Twitter, I always say like if I'm going to go shopping or something, or I decided to do something, I always put the clip of like tomorrow I go to Somber Town. And then, oh God, one of my favorite things is when, you know how sometimes when you're trying to tell somebody to do something and your brain doesn't click, but you know what you're trying to say. So you're basically stuttering or you're like, trying to think it out. Whenever someone does that to me, or usually a family member, I should say my mom, because she's the only one else who would get it, or maybe even my friend Anthony. But like whenever they do something like that, I'm like, what? The stars? The moon? The chimney? Go down the chimney. Great idea. Because it's that little thing going, the moon, the stars. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's basically the origin story of Santa Claus. But like throughout this movie, there are so many references and little things I've used in my life. Like you put one foot in front of the other. Oh my gosh. And like I love the needle drops in this. I was just like talking online and I was like, I love the Jessica song. And my friend did like a whole music video to the Jessica song that I never knew about.
That Jessica sequence is like far out, man. That's like a full on
straight out from the 60s.
Definitely like did some sort of psychedelic before making that scene.
Yes, that's of its era for sure. That is like, because I at the end I always say like, oh yeah, these movies are timeless, but like there's some little like tidbit of like, oh yeah, this is from the 60s.
Yeah.
And that is definitely from the 60s. But I love that. Oh my gosh. And I like, oh, I love yo-yos, Burgermeister Meisterburger. Oh my gosh. I love this movie. Oh my God, Sarah. Oh my God. So be brutally honest with me. Tell me how it doesn't compare to the other ones. I can take it.
Like I'm here for it, I know. I do have to say that you explaining your love of the movie made me love the movie more. Because I was like, oh, those are good quotes. Like when they're used comedically out of context of the movie.
Out of context, yes.
Yeah.
I just want to add one more detail. The reason why I'm so nostalgic for Rankin Bass. So when I was a kid, I had a box set.
Oh, you had.
And throughout the whole year, like not even just Christmas, because I think there's a reason why I quote this movie so often. I would watch them throughout the year because I had that little box set. It had Santa Claus Coming to Town, Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, A Very Merry Cricket, which is like a off the road beat and beaten path. Yeah, you never heard of it?
No.
It's like one of the best Christmas specials by Chuck Jones, the artist.
Yeah.
If you could find a copy, it's hard to find. I think I barely found a Blu-ray copy or somewhere or a DVD. I forget what. But I finally found one. I'm like, I'm going to hold this to my chest and never get rid of it. But like, it was part of that box set.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm totally nostalgic. But go ahead. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. So, but what I was going to say is like, Bridesmaids started out that way for me. The first time I watched Bridesmaids, I was like, yeah, it's okay. But then I started like hearing all the quotes and I'm like, favorite freaking movie ever. Right. So,
yes.
So it's not like of the 4 movies we watched, I'd say it ranked bottom for me. But I'm not like a huge, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I'm not a big like old school Christmas special girl. I know my best friend Danielle loves it. She lives for it. Like she's like, I love all the claymation. I think I just broke Frank's heart. I think he's like not okay right
now. Dying. The oxygen has been out of the room.
But I do have to say there were some parts of it that like I was like laughing to myself about. And one of them was they really did Jessica dirty. Like Jessica was like a hot young lady.
Oh, yeah. She gets plump because when he goes crazy,
Like,
I love the ending of this, Sarah. He goes crazy. He grows a beard and he can't stop laughing. We're gonna build it here. We're gonna build a whole house here. And like everyone's just looking at him like silently. And like she's all plump because he's been feeding her. He's like, we're gonna do it here. He's all crazy. And they build the house. And it's wonderful. And after 60 years, they still call him Warlock. I love it.
yeah. So, you can call me Mr. Wizard or whatever. So
Winter, please.
Winter. So I was like just giggling to myself. I'm like, wow, they did Jessica dirty. Like, they could have kept her like a sexy old lady, but they like full on went crazy. Santa Claus also went a little crazy. I like that. Like, I kind of wish you could like recreate this movie as if it were like an unhinged man, you know? Because there was a lot of it too. I'm like, ooh, that's a little cringy. Like, oh, kids are sitting on his lap and he wants kisses. As
if
like,
you sit on my lap today, a kiss a toy is the price you'll pay.
And I'm like, oh God, this should be your next like little like what's it called, mashup is like
YouTube poop
into like a cringy like bad grandpa kind of situation, like
and a whisper. Oh my God, that line, holy smokes.
And then but the other thing that I was like really fascinated by, and I wanted to ask you about it because I didn't have time to look it up because I watched it today, was there an influence of like the Gaugermeister or whatever his name is? Was he like influenced by Hitler? Because this is like a post. I know it was the 70s, but like, was there post-war influences on that?
Oh, possibly, yeah. Because it's like probably close to World War II at the time, 60s. So it's like a couple years, like 20 years afterwards.
Yeah, because
I'm sure that influenced that.
I was like sitting there. I was like, wow, this is really interesting. Like the only German people in this movie are like the Meister and the soldiers, and then everybody else is not German.
And I wonder if there's like a deep cut reference that we don't remember, but back then maybe it was relevant.
That's what I was fascinated by.
So, I was going to talk about something else that's in the same vein. Yeah. So you know how like we used to make toys for the king, and they show the king in the book, but later in the movie, the king is the doctor who says, "You broken your funny bone," and then he's also the dad who says, "Oh, thank God, there's no toys." So that king is in like hiding. As a civilian.
Interesting.
Which I found interesting because, like, if you look at that drawing when she says, first toy, make it to the king.
Right.
That design is so specific, it matches the guy who's in hiding as the doctor and as a civilian.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's some deep cut reference.
I think
he's very black in the beard. Yeah.
I want to look that up after because I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. Like, I feel like there's some, I was listening to a podcast.
There's gotta be.
I was listening to an Ologies podcast about the history of vampires, I think, or werewolves or something like it's like a PhD person who teaches on folklore, right?
Yeah.
It's monsters. And we're talking about how Nosferatu specifically, like Dracula, like through the generations in film has been like, or Frankenstein, like these monsters have been portrayed historically, like about whatever big conflict was going on. Like you look at Nosferatu and in this decade and like pitchforks and this relates to this part of history. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I was watching this movie and I'm like, oh, there's got to be some like very fast post-war, like something going on here that I definitely want to look up. But that was like what was kind of like keeping me going because I was like trying to find the little like Easter eggs throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that was interesting was it was also had like very religious undertones, which I guess makes sense for the date, right? But they're like, oh, they got married under this tree, which is a perfect church, or like on the
like the church and like in the front of God or something. There's like some like little underlying line, like okay,
it's like very religious, and I'm like, wow, this is and it fits for the time, right? Like that was
of course,
TV in that day, but. Those were the parts that are fascinating me, but also like love the Penguin, big fan of the Penguin, like really. It reminds me of the little clay penguin. Remember that show back in the day?
Pingu?
The Angry Penguin, yeah.
Oh, is it Pingu or no?
Maybe it's Pengu. I don't know. There's a lot of memes of it.
Spanish television, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in Pingu.
Yeah. But did they actually use clay for it? Like to make
this?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I always assumed it was like clay or wood or something. Oh my god! Before we even get going and forget about him, Fred Astaire. I thought that was great. The Fred Astaire is the mailman.
Oh.
Yeah, completely forgot about him before we even move on.
He's like the
Yeah, he's like the narrator. Yeah, he's the narrator throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I think I liked it as a kid, because it sort of felt like a record player. Yeah. Where, like, you don't have to watch it; you just have to play it in the background.
And you know, I was finishing a Christmas project, so I was like listening, and then I woke up. What?
Hot scoop! Sarah's making Christmas item. Hot scoop! You heard her first here.
So I was kind of listening and then looking up every now and then, and it does work as like it feels like a old school, like you listen to the radio, old school story, which I liked. Also, like another parallel universe that the postman is the narrator of both stories.
Oh yeah, that's the other connection. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh yeah, but yeah, that's the other. I'm like, is the postman part of the lore? It must be.
I wonder if like Klaus was inspired by this movie.
Or Klaus went back to the origin, and it's, it's like, how you talk the origin of Christ or whatever, and it's always the same element.
Lore.
So maybe like the origin of Santa Claus has all these elements. Like there's a school teacher involved. There's some sort of town that doesn't want this. You have the postman, a part of it. And then you have like the elves or helpful people or people who take in Klaus. Like you have all these different, like there's like different points, but you just do your own origin story. Yeah. I'm trying to think, because like there's other movies like this, right? Where you tell the origin, like all those little pieces stay the same, but it's its own thing.
The postman has to be part of it then, because it's just too weird. And then he just plays a different role in both stories, right?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, I don't know if this was inspired by it or they went back to the original text. It's like, it makes me want to do research after seeing Klaus and this. It's like, oh my god, it's like, what's the story? What's the origin? It has to be, right? There has to be a post. That's funny.
So, yeah, I'll give it. It's solid. It's a solid Christmas movie. I know it's like a crowd favorite. It's a classic. I'll give you that. But I like the Heat Miser movie.
Thank you, Sarah. I'll give you that.
I'll give you that. And I appreciate it more now that I see the quote worthiness of it.
Oh yeah, it's like one of those winter plays. Oh my gosh, a fast walking. Oh my god, I love this movie, Sarah. I don't know. I think it's just because I watched it so many times as a kid. One of the few VHSs I own. Oh my god. I still love that ending though, where he's just like going mad. We'll build it here. I can see it now. This is the house. Oh my god.
So what's your favorite scene?
Oh my god, Sarah, how dare you? My favorite scene. Oh my gosh. There's so many. Like I love all the music sequences. It would probably have to be like one of their goofy faces they make with the animation.
Creepy faces.
I think one of my favorite goofy faces is when so I think he's going back home. He's going back home, right? And the Winter Warlock stops him. And then he's got that face of like, because like he's stuck in the trees, Evil Dead style, and it goes to the commercial break, and it comes back, and it's a different shot, and he's still making like a similar face, but it's not quite the same. I love that. I think that might be my favorite. Or second favorite too is that the movie opens up with the postman driving, and then a big giant clump of snow falls out, and he basically comes out swearing like, "Doggone son of a bitch!" And he's like, "Oh, hello, kids. Let me tell you about the origin of Santa Claus." Because he's like, "Doggone son of a..." Oh, and then he's like, "Oh wait,
there's kids.
Hello, there's kids here. Let me tell you about the origin of Christmas and throw mail around."
I love that. Good picks. I definitely have to go with the Jessica, the crazy tripping on acid Jessica scene. I'm just like, because that was one of the movies where I was looking down on my project, and then I looked up and I was like, what movie is this?
Because it's like a different song.
All the
It's like
I'm like, what's happening here? Like, this does not fit with the other things.
it's like Mama Cass stopped in for one day and just started saying, "My world is beginning today."
All the swirls. I'm like, whew. So that's definitely, I like that. I also like the scene where I agree with you on when Winter is just discouraged about life, because I'm like, that is like the epiphany of being an adult, really. It's just like, oh, I lost my magic. And he's just like sad in jail. He's like, I don't have it anymore. And I'm like, wow, I feel seen. I feel seen. Really, I do. Like, I get you, Winter. I get that. Like, that character was put in for the parents, for sure.
Oh my god. God, Sarah. Oh my god. Oh my god, Sarah. I like how both of your characters you picked from the movies are the ones who don't give a shit about the holiday. You picked the bum and you picked the Winter Warlock. I think I set the theme here, Sarah. You picked holiday, and then you picked the Winter Warlock, and you picked the bum.
Klaus, which is the most mushy gushy movie. So there.
No, who's your favorite character in Klaus? Let's put it to the test. I bet you're going to say it's the Edna.
It's Jesper. I love that guy.
Okay, Jesper. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Because I could see you saying, no, I like the old woman who says, I swear to God, if you say who.
I do love her, though. I really do. She has such Yzma vibes. Such Yzma vibes.
I swear to God. Oh, my gosh. So give it to me straight, Sarah. Be easy. Oh, wait. Did you already give you Rosenbaum? I forgot.
I didn't already give it. Okay.
Oh, that's right. You said, no, I'll give it to you. It's a classic. And I started laughing. That's what it was. Oh, God. What's the
I don't want to
Rosenbaum?
give it to you. I don't want. I'm gonna give it. Can I do a neutral?
You're going to say half or zero, aren't you?
I will do. Yeah, I'm going neutral. I'm going like 0 roses, 0 bombs, just like middle of the road.
Yeah, middle of the road.
Sarah. It's here.
I love it. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for being honest. Thank you.
What's
All right.
your Rosenbaum?
Out of 3, I give it 4.
Whoa.
I love this movie, Sarah. I quote it in my life. In the morning, I wait for
personality.
This is like my Big Lebowski. This is my freaking, what's the other quotable one? What do you call it? My Mean Girls. Where everyone just quotes it. This is mine.
Fair.
Oh, Sarah. This is great.
Good stuff. This was enjoyable. Like, we need to do like a holiday in July episode, I think. So just like, it's just enjoyable.
Yeah, we need like a revival just to like, you know, because this is good. Because I like the Christmas. Like we need to do a Christmas in July.
Yeah. Just remember that.
Make a note. Put it down there, Jamie. Write it down. Okay.
What's our theme next month?
Well, next month is birthday month for me, so I'm going to pick one of my favorite movies for you. But I'll let you pick first. What do you want to go with?
Are we doing a birthday theme?
I'm kind of going with that for mine, but
Okay.
well, I guess it's just like whatever theme. I'll let you decide though.
And usually I come to these with like a couple ideas, but this time I did not come with a couple ideas. So
Okay, I'll help you out. So I'm going to pick, because I asked the audience and they gave me 2 choices, and I got to go with the one that speaks to me. So like, I think yesterday I had a dream. I was in a shitty theater and I went to go see this movie, and everyone was still there. Even though the theater was shitty, we still tried to enjoy this movie. And when I woke up, I immediately wanted to watch it because I haven't watched it in a while, and I love this movie. Uncut Gems, starring Adam Sandler.
oh my God, I love Adam Sandler movies, but I haven't seen that one, so I'm all on board for this.
I'm going to give you Uncut Gems for my January movie.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yes.
A crime thriller with Adam Sandler. I'm pretty excited about this.
Yes.
This kind of makes me want to do an Adam Sandler movie. Which is only on
Uncut Gems, baby. Hell yes. The other one, I guess I'll save for another day, but the other one was also a good choice. But Uncut Gems, that's my pick. I desperately want to watch it again. Because what I love about Uncut Gems, before we even get to the episode, just keep it in the back of your mind.
Okay.
So Adam Sandler movies are usually funny because it's shot in a comedy way. This movie is an Adam Sandler movie if it was shot seriously.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
If it wasn't a comedy, well, it's technically kind of still funny, but it's still an Adam Sandler character for sure. It's so that's why I love about his serious movies is like his crime movies, like not crime movies, but dramatic, like Punch Drunk Love is like an Adam Sandler movie. And this is another one of those ones where the directors took it like that character and placed him into their world, but it's still Adam Sandler. Oh my God. I love it. Uncut Gems.
Okay, this gave me inspiration. I'm going to take your Adam Sandler and play it back to you. And there is a Netflix special.
Damn, okay, I gotta watch it this month and then take notes before my subscription ends.
It is my favorite Adam Sandler movie, and it's called The Week of.
The Week of.
The Week of. It's not birthday themed. It is wedding themed. But
it's Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler January. Nice.
Yes, it's an Adam Sandler January, and it's basically like it's an Adam Sandler funny movie where Adam Sandler plays like the typical dad, and it's just like the week of the wedding and everything that could go wrong goes wrong, and that's where I'm going to leave you. It's quite enjoyable. It's another one of my comfort movies, so I'm pretty excited for Adam Sandler January.
I think you're going to love Uncut Gems. I really do. I think you're going to love it, Sarah. Holy smokes. I really do. Because I'm Sarah. I love this movie so much. I bought it twice. I bought the Blu-ray when it came out, and then I bought the 4K when it came out.
Oh my God.
I love this movie. Sarah, you're going to love it.
Where is this on your top 100?
It's not on my top 100. Because there's some movies that didn't make it. Because I love Die Hard 2, Sarah, with all my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make the top 100.
Okay.
Yeah. But I love Uncut Gems, Sarah.
I'm super excited. I love Adam Sandler movies, so this is going to be great.
No, I'm serious, Sarah. Like, this movie is so good. Because like when I saw this in the theater, like my heart was pounding the whole goddamn time. Like my eyes were glued to the screen until the very end. And at the end, when it ended, like I felt afraid. My heart was pounding. I couldn't believe the movie was over. It's incredible.
Ooh,
you're gonna love it
for the journey, and then you can have like your little sorbet after with The Week of, because it's very silly. It's like, let's eat meat, and then we'll have some sorbet.
Oh my gosh! Oh my God! I'm excited.
Love it.
So, any Christmas themed things planned for the rest of the month? How are you?
I'm currently trying to wrap presents nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest Christmas theme thing I have going is I'm starting Wednesday. I'm taking the rest of the year off, so I'm pretty excited. So we're gonna do all that nothingness at the end of the year.
Nice.
Yes. How about you?
I'm gonna try, hopefully, to finish my Christmas cards. I totally was not into it this year.
Oh.
Like I have them sketched out, and I have 5 custom-made foldouts almost finished. And I have 15 printed ones just in case I can't finish my drawings. But like I'm working on it. Hopefully it's this week. And then I got to work on 2 packages for some friends and hopefully ship those out.
Love it.
Those will probably go out after Christmas just because at this point, like, I don't want to get lost. So I'll just send it, be safe. Send it after Christmas as long as they get them.
That's the most fun time to get Christmas cards because you're like, oh, there's more. Like it's not over.
There's more.
There's more. I still have your Simba on my fridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you have like tons of symbols. You even got the symbol like this.
I know. I love my Simbas.
Gotta have your Simbas. Gotta have your Simbas. Okay, so with that being said, I think that's it. Oh yeah, I want to show because Whitney, I promised her in the last stream. So Whitney, because like Whitney's like, show me a sweater. So here's the sweater Whitney got me.
Jurassic Park, love it.
She sponsored this episode. She also gave me this Chia Pet.
Oh my God.
Of Indiana Jones.
That is so fantastic.
I have no idea what I'm going to do with it.
You're going to grow it. You're going to grow it.
And when it dies, I'll just let it sit there.
You should just put it like in like with your like background. See if you can make it blend in somewhere.
There's no way it's gonna survive back here. Although, oh, maybe I could go to, because up there it's sort of like Congo meets Jurassic Park.
Ooh,
So maybe I could squeeze it in there like some old relic of Indiana Jones.
love that. Big fan.
Possibly. But yes. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Shane Ford, for coming in for the first part. I think he stopped the stream and went instantly to Holiday.
I'm really please, Shane, come back next time. Tell us what you thought. Like, I feel excited we convinced somebody to watch the movie.
I know damn well he's gonna be like, you motherfuckers lied. So thank you, Shane, for tuning in. Thank you, Captain Iron Doc, for tuning in. Thank you, Juliana. Thank you, Becky, and anyone else who tuned in. If anyone's on Facebook,
yes, thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. But yes,
thank you,
so
Frank.
I'm Frank.
Thank you for
Sarah.
This is awesome. This started 1 year ago when you sent me the most awesome Christmas box ever. And we did a live unboxing. So like just amazing that we're 10 streams in now, almost a year, but just so cool that like one act of goodness inspired another. So thank you. And I appreciate you.
Oh, the line. She squeezed the line in. The line, the plug. She said the thing.
I said it.
Oh my God. She said it. It's like the Rick Dalton point. You did it. Oh my God.
Mic drop.
To explain to the folks at home. So for those at home, she just quoted the most greatest movie we just talked about, aka Klaus.
Yes.
Klaus. Yes. It was nominated for an Oscar. I didn't know that.
It's a good movie. I was like, when you were texting me last night, I'm like, oh, he's gonna totally like come into this with low expectations and be blown away.
I just started up because like, oh my God, funny story before we go. Oh my God, we were wrapping up, but I just remembered the funny story. So I'm like, Sarah, where's Grandma got ran over by a reindeer? And you're like, I don't know.
Like I was hoping you.
So I on Netflix, because I had it right there as I was like, because I typed it in, Grandma got ran over, and before you could finish it, it's not there. And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's not anywhere. And you're like, I know. So I was like, let's like, what do you want to pick? Klaus. And I'm looking at the thing because I just typed in Grandma got ran over by, the first thing that popped up was Klaus. I'm like, are you faking Klaus? Because it's the first thing that pops up when Grandma got ran over by reindeers typed in. You're like, no, I swear. I watched. I'm like, okay. And you're like, that's fair for asking. No.
It's fair. It was a fair question.
Because it cracked me the fuck up. Because like when you said Klaus, I'm looking at the screen and I just typed it in and the number one was Klaus. I was like, Sarah, like, are you on the other end of those line?
The funniest part was I was actually nowhere near my TV. I was in a bookstore. I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
But yeah, I had to share that funny story because I thought it was so great. Sarah, where's I don't know. I thought you were gonna tell me.
My childhood heart from the last time I saw it, and that's so much anymore.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. But yes, I wanted to make sure it was on the record. But yes, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for enjoying this episode. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night and Merry Christmas if you watch this later. Yes. And what's the line? A good night to all or whatever.
Nailed it.